quality, the believability of shows such as that. We're seeing that in movies now. Well, it's not just movies, Arrow. We're seeing things that is not comic book bookish. It's how it actually would be if we in fact saw that level of the future. And it was believable, and it's like, whoa. And the scripts, I agree with you, were incredible. We all loved the dialogue from line 1 to line 2, everything that was said. The revelations that were given to us throughout that series. You guys really had us hanging on forever, and we loved it. But it's like, oh my God, I need a drink. Who do we have out there? Hi, over there. What's up?
A question for Tricia. After Battlestar Galactica, you kept popping up in guest roles here and there, and it would take me a second to get you out of Africa 6 into the character that you were playing. Did you ever have that trouble?
Basically, you were seen in guest starring roles while filming Battlestar Galactica and other shows or series, I'm assuming.
After.
It was after. Oh, and I guess he's basically saying that since your character as Six on Battlestar, was it hard for you to transition out of that role as Six into a new role? And that probably goes for everyone. Into that new role of whatever series or whatever show you ended up with. I'm hoping I got that right, buddy.
Yes.
Actually, no. It's not difficult at all, because as an actor, that you're trained to do different types of roles. So you see them as a different person. You see them, and it's a completely different project. And Richard touched on a little bit. You also want to do other things. You want to find a different facet of your personality to come out in a certain way, or I find it fun playing a serial killer and then playing a lawyer and then going to play a Texas Ranger and then going to play a robot, and it spices things up, keeps things fresh, and keeps you on your toes, I think. But I love Six. I love her. I actually did kind of slip into her a little bit in my new show, that it was just plug here, Ascension. Just finished filming, and Viandra, my character, is similar to Six in many ways, completely different. I'm human. But I did, in one line, I had to say, and for the hope and love of humanity. It was a pledge. It has nothing to do with Battlestar at all. But I was saying the line, and I kind of turned to my co-star, and I was like, humanity, and whatever. I turned into Six, like humanity's children are coming home, or whatever it was. And I totally said it wrong. I was supposed to be giving like a pledge of allegiance, and I turned to him like in Six mode about humanity's children. He's looking at me, he didn't watch Battlestar, so we didn't know. And I went, I just turned into Six.
Do you do that in real life though, with your partner or children or anything of that nature? If you have children, my apologies, but do you do that in real life? Do you guys find yourself going into character at the grocery store line, the poor cashier, especially Michael? Michael, have you ever?
Only when necessary.
I can see you online negotiating, like your insurance or something, and you're breaking the Saul and kind of threatening what you'll do to them. Okay, let's go for another question out there. Where are we? Oh, there you go. Hello.
Hi. First of all, I just want to say thank you guys. I had the Portlandia experience of watching Battlestar Galactica that I binged it for like fantastic my life. It's great. Thank you all so much for your hard work. I adore the show. I wanted to ask, I'm a huge comic fan, and there's so much buzz about, is Katie Sackhoff doing a Marvel thing? And obviously I'm not going to ask you guys about that. I'm going to ask you guys about you. If you guys could be any superhero or villain or any sort of comic character, what would be your dream role to tackle as actors? Because you all played such amazing heroes and villains and complex characters and brought these kind of archetypes to life. So I'd love to know if you guys were going to tackle superheroes and villains, if you could cast yourselves, play any role, what would it be?
Robbie the Rubber Man, or Elastic Man, I think. You young to know that one. You know, his hair can stretch, I can grab you at the back. Yeah, plastic. Okay, good, I'm not wrong. I remember.
I have no idea, but the one that came into my mind was Robin Hood. I want to steal from the rich and give to the poor. Yay. And wear those tights and... That's left-handed. There we go.
I can see you, swinging through the forest on a big tree limb, going, welcome to Sherwood, and throwing your hair back, and... All right, Richard. Superhero, man. Who?
God, that's a hard one. You know what I mean, so many characters fly, right? But nobody sails through the air like Spider-Man. Really? Isn't that the coolest thing in the whole world? Yeah, Spider-Man.
All right, Spider-Man.
Gosh, it's pretty easy for me. I think I've been asked this a few times, and it's always the same answer, because I'm a huge cat fanatic. So, So I don't think there'd be any Catwoman. I mean, I am part of cat, I think, so, yeah.
I can definitely see this woman. In fact, you're at Dragon Con, and if you'd like to have a costume, I'm sure that we can wrangle something up. If any of you want to offer Tricia any costume, except you guys, any costume, you can go see her down in the signing room and just give her a box, bow on it and everything, and that's a present. Any other question? Hey, what's up?
Hi, this is a question for everybody. What is the craziest theory that anybody you heard came up with, and bonus points if it's a fellow cast or crew member, for who the final Cylon or who the final five were?
You're asking who they think it could be?
No, what was the craziest theory that they heard?
Craziest theory?
Meaning, theory, like
Me.
expand.
Before it was revealed.
Before you guys were
and people were
revealed.
trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I never heard one, so I can't answer that. I'm gonna have to absolve myself from the question.
Yeah, I agree.
Who did you guys think it was?
Yeah, that's the more important question.
Laura Rosalind, I think.
I was hoping. Yeah, I was really hoping. Seriously. I could download it to anybody I want. Already cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping personally it was, Callis, James Callis, so he just knock his ass off, But it'd be great if it was James as being, one of the Cylons. He deserved to. Richard, what do you think?
Oh, you didn't hear my answer.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. No, what I said was, I had no idea who it was. I think, unlike some characters, I was really hoping I was a Cylon. No, really. I thought it was so cool to be a Cylon because, what better character to play? I mean, by the way, I hate to say it, but I think we're all actually Cylons. No, we are. We're like conflicted between that program part of ourselves and the human side, right? And we're all struggling to, deal with our dark side. And that's kind of a metaphor, I think, for life.
Yeah, that's not water over there in Richard's. So
It was like deep. That was a very good answer. Didn't you know?
It was deep. It was very good. No, you're absolutely right. If the entire fleet, like I said, ended up being, Cylons, I mean, what's the sense? And their struggle, it would be very convoluted. I think it was nice that they came up with the 5 that they did, because it really shocked the living daylights. I mean, Michael's role himself, what? No. It's basically what I was saying at the TV. Not him, but, it still ended up being quality. Who do we have out here? Hi, go for it.
Hi there. This question is for Richard. So I have watched Battlestar Galactica from the first pilot and the original series, and I have watched all the new ones as well. But I have to tell you that I have always had the biggest crush on you since. And my question to you is, what was your favorite episode in the original series and why?
Wow, okay. Well, I actually like the first one. the movie, right? First movie I thought was really, really cool. And I like the final episode. The Hand of God, where we have the transmission coming from Earth, and we see that connection, you know, between Battlestar traveling through space and searching for the long lost planet Earth. So those two were my favorite. But I think, I hate to say it, I really think as great as the mythology and the backstory was, they really were rushing everything. We didn't have time to really prepare. And so a lot of those episodes in the middle for me got lost, but we kind of got back on track at the end. But the beginning part was great, and the last couple episodes were great. But the middle part was really a struggle. But thank you Thank you, by the way. Stand up, what do you look like? I can't see anything. I found one, okay? All it takes is one, right? No.
But that was cool. You had the opportunity for both series. So if we could follow up on the newer series, shall I say, is there a favorite episode of yours? Because you were a badass during the beginning as well.
You know, that first episode, episode 3, when I come into the show, I mean, what a cool kind of introduction to a character. And then I get to sit there and kind of describe Apollo, you know, in mythology to the new Apollo, Jamie Bamber. And I gotta be honest, the one thing I missed, and I'm sure every character would say this, you know, we wish the show had gone on, but I wanted to have that final scene with Jamie Bamber, since I had my first scene with Jamie Bamber, before they blow me out the airlock. I really wanted to have that scene. Yeah.
That would have been appropriate.
Yeah. Just because, you know, just to kind of get into a little of the motivations. Because most of the time you never knew what he was thinking. You never knew what was really going on with him.
Well, let me, in terms of you guys' acting skill, I'm not an actor. There are probably some actors out there. I envy all you guys who are able to, you know, pull emotions out from your gut and your feeling and whatever. And Michael, particularly, you had some scenes, especially opposite Katie, where, I mean, you're literally spitting in each other's face, you're screaming at each other, you're really calling each other names. How difficult is it to bring up literally that anger? I mean, even if I tried it myself, you could see if it was fake. Yeah, she's not serious. I might have to crack a smile, smirk, or whatever, but you guys were so convincing, so realistic. How, in fact, did you guys, even through rehearsal, how do you rehearse something like that? I don't think I want to go there twice, you know?
You don't know.
Don't rehearse it. What do you say? No.
Yeah, you don't always rehearse it. Well, you rehearse it, well, the stunt fight's half speed or something, or sometimes with emotional stuff, you do want to try and save it for when they're actually taping.
You know, one of the gifts of this Battlestar Galactica and this series is that it was basically a movie that took us 5 years to shoot. The characters were introduced, and then there was basically no acting required in the sense, say, in the 4th season or the 3rd season. Because you, the audience, the viewer, was there along with us and knew the story from the beginning. You knew about Ty's alcohol problem because we built that up over time, and the animosity between two characters. So you really, when you're doing a one-off or a movie of the week, you have to somehow get that backstory in on set that day. But with Battlestar Galactica, some of my favorite scenes were, for example, when I come back from the planet and after losing her, I would be in my cell, in my room, in my quarters by myself, and I got them to keep her wardrobe around there and just shoot by myself. And there with the audience, you're just helpless watching, going, oh my God. And just walk down the hallway, or my re-entrance into the CIC. There was really no acting required, but we never get a chance to do that for any of that length of time. I don't know if I'm explaining myself properly, but Battlestar was very special to that extent because you got to know the characters and you could begin the series hating them and start to love them and hate them again. But you were there along with them like family, right? So that itself was a gift. So, you know, the relationship between Starbuck was fascinating because when I see her down on the planet, I give her a hug. And I give her a hug because, one, I do no use for Starbuck whatsoever. Tigh doesn't. But, by golly, there she is. She's alive. She's out on the planet. And if there's anybody I want to be in battle with or to be around, it's Starbuck. I don't care for her personally, but we are one big family. And the beginning of the relationship was the card playing where she smacks me. Well, the lines were, we're playing cards together, and I say Starbuck. That's a heck of a call name. How did you get that call name? Where did you get that from? But when we started rolling, I said Starbuck. Starbuck. Where'd you get that? And you see Katie Saka didn't know me from Oliver. She's going, what the fuck? What's that old guy doing? Jesus Christ, like, she's nervous, we're nervous, right? Because that was the first scene, none of us around that table knew each other at all, right? And so that got Katie, so she said, good, get me at that guy, right? The actor or the character. So those relationships grew over, like this one coming on for the first time, and the relationship we had. After a while, we didn't have to act, just go, oh, you don't have to say to you, okay, here we are. And all of us, it's the same thing.
And do you remember when I came back, when I was reintroduced as the fifth, and I was so nervous, I hadn't filmed anything yet, and I go to Michael's room, and I'm like, I'm so nervous, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. And he just looked at me and he goes, you can't make the wrong choice. You are Ellen. And it was so interesting because I'd been gone for a while. And then I come back with this enormous amount of pressure. You know, this is pressure coming back as the fifth because there was so much, emphasis on who's it going to be. And I was frightened and kind of spinning out, well, completely spinning out, and he just like basically snap out of it, like Cher in the fabulous movie. And but it was a beautiful seed because it instantly brought me back to that truth. She's already in me. I am her. The homework's already been done over all those years, and I just needed to show up.
Well, it's incredible. Just watching any craftsman, and a lot of you guys out here, you have your professions. A lot of you guys, I probably cannot do what you do professionally. You probably couldn't do what I do professionally, and we're sitting here amongst professional, and they're literally sharing their craft with us and telling us how they come about, bringing the quality that we've seen on television, and I am enthralled. I'm intrigued. I'm sitting here going, I can't do that. It's unbelievable what you guys.
I don't know, when you're very seldom as comfortable as we got to, and we'll get into a series like Battlestar Galactica, as opposed to an episodic thing where you have different characters and different guests every week. I mean, I'm a journeyman actor. I've been doing this for well, not quite as long as Mr. Hatch. The comfort that you have and your ability, because you say you need that cabinet built, well, why don't I use some oak and some zebra wood on this or something like that. The same thing when you're acting and you're going to different things, but you can because you're reluctant. It's our set, it's our cocoon, it's our spot. We're very comfortable and safe in it, as opposed to when you go and guest on somebody's series, you think, what do we want done here? That's not an easy thing.
Well, every set has its own, not only is there a tone of each individual show, every set has its own vibe. And so in the beginning of Battlestar, we were setting our vibe and our tone, and I think as a cast and crew, we all became very close. We still are very close, and I think that helped when guests did come in. We were very welcoming to them. But as you were saying, in the beginning you have a lot more work of setting up this character. First days, as you've mentioned, are always hard because you're trying to figure out who this character is, and you can see it on the paper, but until you actually live her for a scene or a day or whatever, an example of my last show, I was playing Texas Ranger, and we rehearsed for a week just sitting down talking about stuff. The first scene, I didn't even have any dialogue. I just walked to my Tahoe, and the director comes in like, oh my God, that was Molly. I'm like, I know, because I was living her. I was walking. I'm not going to walk down the office with her swagger, And that's the same thing with every time you do a role, you're settling in. So by third, fourth seasons, fifth seasons, we all know who we are as individuals, and we also know who we are as characters. And so I can look, you know, at Hogan and see Hogan and talk to Hogan, but then I can also flip like that and see Tigh immediately, and I can slip into Six like that. And so you just, when you're reading your scripts in later episodes or later seasons, you're less, at least I'm less looking at it in terms of, okay, how is she thinking, whatever. I just know how she's thinking. And it just, you're used to the sets, you're used to coming in there. You know, when I start a show for the first time, if there's new sets, I want to go sit in them for a while. I don't want to just walk into them as we're blocking. I want to go sit in there without crew in there and see where the nooks and crannies are and see where things are. Because if you're supposed to, if it's your house, your character's house that you've lived in for 30 years, and you're stepping foot into it for the first time, it's not going to be the same thing as if you've at least had some time in there, you know?
Which it seems to me would make it even more devastating when you guys get canceled. And you
weren't canceled. Ron Moore thought it would take 3 seasons to tell the story. It took 4 seasons, and the 5 with the miniseries. But I said to him times over the run of the show, so are you going to keep going with this, man, or are you going to stick to this? And he said, no, when the story's told, the story's told. So
yeah,
there was come in and go, well,
mind.
we've been canceled. We knew that the end was coming. So there was, that's why it was a movie that took us 5 years to shoot, because why would he go any further with it?
Yeah, it's the end of the story. It's the last page of the book. I'm sorry, Kate.
No, I just wanted to add to the idea of stepping onto the set for the first time. You're speaking your words as this character for the first time. You're meeting people for the first time. And so basically my first scene was the dinner table scene. And Eddie was directing, and thank God Eddie was directing, because he indulged me. And as an actress, I mean, we spent all day on one scene, which is unheard of in television. And it's the first time I met Hogan, you know, and it's the husband and wife reunited for the first time. And working with Hogan, it was like, you know, it was like 2 kids in a sandbox getting into trouble at the dinner table, you know what I mean? It's like, we got busted bad. And I'm looking around, and Ellen, like every seed that every characteristic that was inherent in Ellen was planted in that episode at that dinner table. She's conniving, manipulative, sexual, funny, dangerous.
When she put her leg across under the table on the
Jamie's
thigh, on Solo's thigh. He wasn't. She didn't tell him she was going to do that. He's in the jail and said, lying together. He's equal.
It wasn't his thigh.